What is up, guys? Welcome back to another live. Excited to be here. Been a couple of months since the last one, but always a good time to do a live. Hope everyone's well. Let me make sure we can hear. All right. Just checking. We got volume. Everyone can hear me. Hope everyone is well. It's yes, we got volume. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, welcome back. Another live, another Jamz, episode 30. It's crazy. I don't know when I did 30 lives, but apparently we've done 30 lives. And we are back. Lance, what's going on, my man? Hope you enjoyed the slide off. I know you were asking a lot about when that was coming back, so hopefully, Lance, you enjoyed the return of the slide off. Episode 2 coming soon. We got a fun twist for that. Blue Apple, hey. Hey, Reed, missed the Jamz. Hey, man, I'm glad to have the Jamz back. Blue Apple, didn't you request, maybe it's not you, tell me if I'm wrong, requested a pin code divination on the wizard tier? I think you did. I am filming that tomorrow for you. So, yeah. Happy day to you, Reed. Dawn, welcome to the live. As always, guys, anything you want answered, this is the best time. Drop it in the chat. Happy to answer all of it. Glad you loved it, man. Yeah, it was fun. That slide off was a lot of fun. You know, slide off is a series like I used to do a long time ago, and I think people were just scared. No one wanted to do it with me. I reached out to some people. No one wanted to do it. So it took a little bit of a break, but now it's back with Cameron. Season 4 is going to be crazy, going to be madness. And our next episode, I'll give you a little sneak peek. We did like a live slide off. So if you don't know the slide off, it's like a kind of a magic challenge type series. It's all for fun, but we kind of challenge each other to create a certain plot with specific sleights. So in episode 1 of season 4, we were doing an oil and water, so that was the plot. And he challenged me to create one using the Herman pass, the triple lift, and the bullet catch. So the bullet catch is like, you know, when you dribble and you pluck a card out of the dribble. So I had to create an oil and water with that. It's like, what the heck am I going to do? But I came up with something pretty cool, and then I challenged him to create an oil and water with the classic pass, the snap change. Don't know what the heck he was going to do with that. And then another move. Can't remember what it is right now. But that episode's live on the channel. That was a lot of fun. Episode 2, we did like a live slide off. So he came over, we started rolling, we came up with the plot, and then we gave each other 30 minutes to create the routine. So there was actually a time restraint. And you're going to get to see that sort of creative process. We each took a camera and just went off into separate rooms. 30 minutes, came back and did it. And we also introduced a restriction. So we came. The plot for this episode is Gemini twins, or like a twins type effect. So you're like matching of the mates, right? So like the Queen of Clubs, Queen of Spades type thing. Something to do with matching of the mates, right? So this kind of plot. But my restriction for him is he couldn't use any forces, which really makes it really interesting, right? And he gave me the restriction of no setup. So I wasn't allowed any kind of setup with my deck. And then we also included a prop. So he gave me a thumb tip for a card trick. And I gave him this little portal magic trick thing. So it's a really fun episode. That'll be out in a couple of weeks. Marilo, Reed, hey, how you doing? How do I know that I'm ready to do a full mentalism show? Do you feel ready? I mean, that's the first thing I would want to ask, right? Do you feel ready to do the show? What's your material like? I would think of things like, you know, think about your material. Think about if it's in the right place. If you feel confident with it, do you have enough material, enough variety? You know, if you need help putting together a show, I can help. I help lots of people with their show if that's something you're looking for. Private lessons on my website. But you know, otherwise, just take a look at your material. Think about if you have enough. These kind of things. Who else we got in here? Is that LB or IB Magic? Yo, what's going on? What's going on, my man? Good to see you. Chad, I'm new here. Just wanted to say, hey, what's going on, Chad? Welcome. Hope you've been enjoying the content. Lance loved it. Indeed, yeah, Blue Apple. I thought you did request that. Okay, so it's coming out hopefully tomorrow if I can get it all edited, but this week. Unrelated. How many vinyl records do you own? Not many. I think just these two. I have a bunch of like CDs of like albums that I enjoyed. I used to buy a bunch just to have like the physical and just keep them. I don't have a record player. Again, it was kind of just more of a decoration. But I definitely enjoy music, and so yeah, only those two though. Nice. What's going on? Okay, so a couple of things. There's been so much, lots of updates. I mean, I came back from Blackpool. That's one. I mean, it's 2026, right? So lots of things going on in 2026. You know, just before we get in, people who are new to the lives, like this is really just whatever you guys want it to be. Drop your questions. We'll go whatever route you want. I got some things to chat about, but for the most part, you guys will dictate this. So any questions you got, anything you want to talk about, let me know in the chat. People often ask, how do I know when you're doing a live? The best way is to, you know, obviously subscribe and turn on the channel notifications. Second best way is, I didn't do it today because it was a little bit of a last minute live, but I often will try to send out an email to my email list. So if you'd like to sign up for that on my website, you can sign up to my email list, and then I usually email when there's going to be a live, usually the day before or a few hours before. I'm just pretty busy, so the lives are kind of last minute. I feel ready. I feel the tech's good. Half an hour on stage every Friday at Magic Club here in Brazil. The only issue is being the first show and the lack of confidence with what they expect. Yeah, totally, man. You know what I mean? Like, doing your first show, even if it's a new show, there's always that, like, how's it going to play? How's it going to feel? And at the end of the day, the more experience you have, or if you work with someone who's experienced, they can help you say, this will work. You know, how well it will work is always, you got to try it, but they can at least help you say, this will work, this won't work. And when you do that, at the end of the day, you just got to go do it, and you know, prepare yourself the best that you can with your material, your scripts, everything. But at a certain point, you can only do so much. Just a quick plug. Private lessons, while I wait for some more comments to come in. Private lessons, just want to let you guys know my rates for my private lessons. I'm just getting way too busy, way too many lessons. So that's always a good time for the rates to jump. So yeah, my rates are going to be going up. I made an announcement April 1st, so in about 10 days. So if you ever wanted a private lesson, now's the best time. The lowest the prices are ever going to be. After April 1st, they'll be going up. And if you book in before April 1st, you can lock in the rates. So as long as you keep booking, I'll keep you at today's rates. Just wanted to mention that. Private lessons, great way to get help with really whatever it is you need help with. Magic, mentalism. You know, if you need help with sleights, you want to learn some of my material, some new routines. If you want help with your show, you want help, you know, literally whatever it is. So that's that. And then also my membership. So I do have my membership. Let's take a quick peek. Let's see. Okay. So I haven't live streamed in a while. I'm trying to remember all the buttons. There we go. Okay. So over on the channel membership, what do we got? There's some new stuff up on the membership. So this is tomorrow's video. It's up early on the membership for members. An awesome performance breakdown. You're going to learn a ton of cool stuff in there. I talk a little bit about recapping, about taking advantage of, you know, really kind of lucky situations when you perform, because something just ridiculous, super cool. One of the coolest performance ever happened in this video just because of, like, I got lucky, basically. So if you join the Mentalist tier, you get access to my full Animan course. So you get all of the practical mental magic videos, which I can show you are in this playlist, the Animan course. So you get, right now I just put out episode 55. So 55 mentalism tricks. all revolutionized, all revamped into the 21st century, but you also get to learn some fundamentals, and I do talk about the history of this book, so I'm breaking down everything from Practical Mental Magic. If you jump up to the wizard level, you also unlock these other 3 playlists, which are member requests. So if you're a member, you can request your own custom videos. So we've had some pretty cool requests. Someone requested a propless Chinese zodiac guess, so I created one just for you guys. Propless name guess, and then someone asked about building a show. So I made a 2-hour masterclass where I build a brand new show on camera, teach you how I go through it, and then I go perform that show, and you get to see me perform it the next day. It's pretty cool. And then this is my Influence Force tutorial, so exclusive tutorials. I'm working on building up that playlist. I got some cool stuff coming. Cerebral Sandwich will be coming there. And then all of my projects, my masterclass. So you get my 2-hour Propless Mentalism masterclass, my 2-hour live lecture, my 3-hour One Ahead masterclass, my 45-minute billet work lecture. And I'm always adding new stuff. So I'm filming a pin code divination, Propless pin code guess, where the spectator can guess your pin code. You just write a pin code down on a billet, and they just freely think of 4 digits, and it matches. Propless, really cool. So I'm going to release that. I'm going to film that tomorrow and then release it later this week. That's the plan. So yeah, if you'd like access to that, Wizard members. But yeah, guys, Blackpool. Let's talk a little Blackpool. Blackpool was an absolute blast this year, as always. I will definitely be there next year, so I'll see you all there. You know, it was great to see everyone that I met. I hope you guys enjoyed, you know, for those of you who didn't go, you enjoyed the videos I put out on Blackpool. I did 2 videos. I did a day in the life, a POV type video, which I thought was just something different, right? You see a lot of people do best tricks and that, and I wanted to do like a day in the life, so you get to experience from the moment I wake up what the whole convention's like. So you got to see POV shots of the dealer halls, dealers showing you tricks. You got to see me performing to a bunch of people, what it's like to perform at BMC, what it's like to jam, because a lot of people, you know, don't share jams, and that's the best part of BMC. So I shared a bunch of jams with Lloyd Barnes, with Kevin, with Pete Turner, you know, a bunch of different people that I got to jam with while I was there. So I put a lot of that in that video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And then I did my annual, well, again, this is only the second one, but it's going to become an annual thing as long as I keep going to Blackpool, which will be my Blackpool review. So, you know, best trick, best tricks, best lecture, top 5 best tricks, top 5 lectures, top 5 shows, and top 5 underrated tricks. And then I give you a little bit of insight into Blackpool. So one thing I wanted to mention, I had this in my notes, was this guy right here. So this is brand new. This is the what I shot that POV video on. This is called the Go Insta360 Go Ultra. Okay, so it is an action cam, so like a GoPro. Let me see if it's got power. Is it really dead? I haven't opened it in a while. Okay, so I think it's dead. Hopefully it's dead. Anyway, I'll charge it and I'll show you in a minute. So it's got the flip up screen, so you can do vlog style. And then you can flip down the screen and you can do kind of regular style. But the really cool thing, and why I wanted to bring this up to you guys, even if you're not like a content creator, is if you push this button up here, the pod pops out. So the actual camera is literally this tiny little thing. It's like an inch, maybe an inch and a half by an inch and a half, and it's this little thing, and it's incredible. It shoots 4K, it shoots landscape, it shoots portrait, and this, what's really cool for magicians, if you ever wanted to film gigs or for me street magic, and actually, to be honest, I haven't tested it in a gig setting yet. I am going to be shooting a bunch of street magic with this, but you put on this little pendant, right? This pendant goes inside your shirt, and this is magnetic, and then the camera, you can see, just snaps on to your chest. And that's how I filmed my whole Blackpool video, with this. Just walking around. It still wirelessly connects to this, so you can see if there was charge on it, you can still see the shot that you're filming here on the little screen. And so imagine like POV, street magic, POV, you're doing gigs, you're performing, you don't need a cameraman anymore. Really cool POV camera, and this accessory that comes with it is awesome. So I mean, I just tested it at Blackpool for the first time because I just bought it before that, and I was super pleased with it. The quality, as you saw, was very good, and it's well made. It's all magnetic, so it just snaps back in, and then it's back to shooting like this. Battery life is the only thing with these small cameras, so I will, you know, I will give you a little bit on that. Battery life, I seem to be able to get about 45 minutes to an hour off the pod by itself. And then when you plug it back into here, you get about 3 hours. But then the pod will recharge in here in about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. It'll charge to like 100%. So you can get 3 hours out of just the pod, but it only does like 1 hour at a time, and you'd have to recharge it for 15 minutes. But that's not bad. That's pretty good for like a little action cam. So you get about 3 hours total with the pod and everything that can act and recharge it. It does overheat if you're shooting in like 4K 60 FPS on like a hot day with the night mode turned on, so or the low light mode, because that really works it hard. So it will, I have noticed it overheat a few times, but that's an easy fix. I just turn down the turn it down to 2.7K instead of 4K, or just turn off the night mode or something. So those are the only two little things, but so far I've been super happy with it. So I thought that would be a cool thing to talk about for magicians, because I'm definitely planning to use it. It's called the Insta360 Go Ultra. It was about 700 Canadian with tax and everything, which is like 500 American. So it's like 500 USD, but worthwhile investment. Yo, Reed, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. POV video was cool. Appreciate it, man. Also, what tricks do you recommend getting that you saw at Blackpool? I didn't buy much. Let's talk about what I did buy. So the only thing that I really bought was Jack Rhodes' book. I have not read it yet, but I am looking forward to reading it. The Unclear Guide to Magic. It looks really, really good. It looks very high quality, very nice, so I'm excited to take a look at that. What else did I buy? I bought, I'm trying to remember. Oh, this is what I bought. Let me grab it here. The only other thing I really bought, nothing exciting, I bought like a bunch of boxes of 1914 billets, because Alakazam, they've now bought the 1914. So they had a bunch of these. These are my favorite, but they're so expensive to get shipped to Canada, so now I'm just going to buy a bunch at Blackpool. So I bought like 4 or 5 boxes of those. I was gifted a bunch of stuff. Trying to remember what it was. Thank you, of course, to anyone who gifted me anything. I got... what did I get? I'm not seeing anything. I know there's stuff, I just have to find it. Oh, I was given this by, I think it's Phil. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Pure Poison by Phil Jester. Yeah. So I got this. It says, it is said that a person decides if they like another within 7 seconds of meeting them. Now your spectators can separate the good from the bad in split seconds without you touching a thing. Sounds like I got the tutorial here. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It sounds like maybe an out of this world type thing. I got, why am I blanking? I know I got more things than this, but I'm looking at my box of magic and I don't see anything. I did pick up that unliftable thing from last year, that card box that they can't lift, but you can. Kind of cool. It just needs kind of strict performance environment. The only reason I got it is because it was so cheap, and I was like, this could be cool. But I'm not really the guy to ask, because I don't buy anything, because I'm so minimal. I don't use any of it. But yeah, good things that I saw that I didn't get. The number one trick I gave, if you watch my review video, was Ringo by Trick Trick Boom. I thought that was just really cool, even though it's not the type of thing that I would use. Very cool. It's basically like ring to impossible location, where you can take a ring and you drop it in a bag full of other rings, right? So you have like a plastic bag with a bunch of rings. You take their ring, you drop it in, and then you hand them the bag of rings, and in that you steal out their ring for ring to impossible location. Really clever idea, really funny. So yeah, Blackpool was great though. Great time. I recommend it. I always recommend it to everyone. Like, it's a lot. It takes a lot out of you. It's a long journey depending where you're coming from. It can be expensive, but well worth it. The only experience in the world like that. If you're a magician, gotta at least go once. It's quite a fun time. Saw a lot of cool people. Got to catch up with a lot of good friends. Got to perform a bunch of new stuff that I'm working on. Test out some new things. Which have been awesome. So really, really happy with that experience, and I'll definitely be there again next year at Blackpool. What's your favorite oil and water effect? Well, it's interesting. I honestly don't perform oil and water. I've always loved it. Like, it's one of those tricks that I love coming up with methods for. So, like, let me switch this over. Okay, so like I used to do this a lot. And again, anything that I like oil and water wise, I've taught a lot of variations on channel. So you go like 1, 2, 3 oil cards, 1, 2, 3 water cards, and then you go 3 oil, 3 water, and you go oil, water, oil, water, oil, water. And it's been so long that I hope I did this right. And if I did, yeah, they separate. So I used to do like I like that phase, and I've taught this on the channel. But oil, water, oil, water, oil, water, boom, boom, boom. Show them, and then this one you can come here. See if I remember this. You go oil, oil, and oil, and you push that in, and once again it gets fixed. So I used to do that as the first 2 phases a lot, as the oil and water that I would do. And then this is what I used to do a lot. I'm just showing you some ideas, kind of winging it, so you can kind of show them. You can say, okay, push those in, hold out your hand, snap your fingers, and they've all fixed themselves. So I used to do that as like that would be a good final phase because you could put it in their hands. But these days, I just put out a video like last year about mixing. Jimmy, I wanted to talk to you, man. I have a question for you, Jimmy, because I'm pretty sure, Jimmy, are you the dude? Hold on. Okay, well, Jimmy, stay. Don't leave. I have to ask you something in a minute. Anyway, yeah, so I would do that, and then, but I like coming up with other ideas, right? Oil and water. So then I put out a video I was saying last year where you could just have the spectators mix. And then I wanted to come up with methods where there was no move. So it was like they mix, they put it in your hand, and then they sort. So there's a couple ways. This one's pretty tough. Let's see. So this one would be oil, 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 just like that. You can show them. And they go through. I don't think the dude that dislikes Craig Petty, no, it has nothing to do with Craig Petty. Anyway, hey Mike, good to see you, man. Glad to see you in your lessons. Glad you're enjoying it, Mike. It's always good to see you. Anyway, yeah, Jimmy, I have a question about something else. I think I saw you comment on Fred's video about. I'm gonna go read it. Anyway, I had a question for you. You said you were. I remember. You said you were disappointed about PROPLESS mentalism or something, and I had a question for you. Anyway, we'll get to it in a minute. So yeah, oil and water, and that, there's different versions like that. A lot of them I would say is, if you go to that video, you can see a lot of different versions. And even the oil and water that I came up with in the last episode of the Sleight Off has some really cool concepts in it. There's this idea that I came up with, which is similar to the first one I just showed you guys, but it's like, so you say 1 oil, 2 oil, 3 oil, 1 water, 2 water, 3 water. And I'm going to take those oil, and they can see you taking them and interlacing them like this. And you can just push them together like that, snap your fingers, and then the spectator can separate them. So those are a couple methods that I have been enjoying to do. Anyway, Jimmy, I feel like, okay, so I just did a podcast with Fred from the Underperforming Hobbyist. Fred is a great dude. Go check that out over on his channel. And we were talking a lot about my new release that I'm hoping to bring out by summertime. Which is a PROPLESS word guess I think. It seems like people are liking that name is kind of taken over. So I think it's going to be called TRIDENT. And so basically, quick synopsis, I did this all over Blackpool. I was showing it to everyone. Some people said it was the best thing they saw at Blackpool. And it was really cool. Like, you know what, I didn't even expect it to get that kind of reception, but I think it's amazing, but you always think your own thing's amazing, and you never know how other people are going to receive it. But it was received super well. And then, yeah, I've shared like 1 or 2 live performances are floating around out there, and you know, it's been awesome. Like, I showed some of my good friends. Pete's a really good buddy of mine. He really liked it. I showed a bunch of great mentalists: Mark Lemon, Mark Elsden, Lloyd, and all these people just were like, this thing is so cool. And so I'm working on the project now, hoping to release. I think I'm going to release it independent, like I've done everything else. I had some companies ask about bringing it on, but I think I'm going to hold on to it and then just do independent. Why not? I can. I have the infrastructure to do it, and it's nice to be able to have the full freedom to do what I want to do with it, and not have people telling me, oh, you can't put out a live performance, you can't. Anyway, me and Fred had a really good chat on it. I did show it to Fred, and so it's a propless word guess. So it's literally, think about any object and you can tell them what it is. And, it's really good. But I totally get where people are coming from. Well, some people. Most people have been very positive. There's a few, I'm someone who I like to read comments. On all my videos, if you look, I try to respond to everyone, because if you take the time out of your day to comment on a video, I really appreciate it. So, with me, I really try, and hopefully this comes across in my videos, I try to be as honest as possible, and the tricky thing, and the really tricky part about PROPLESS, and there's a few case studies that you can look at, is that the method is the script, right? Generally. Now, I think that there's a lot more going on inside of my system, TRIDENT, and there is, but people can watch it, and like any piece of PROPLESS mentalism, some people will watch it and say, oh, I think I know it's this, it's just this, and there's like anything, there's always more going on. Even if you watch, say, a card trick, for example, and people say, oh, like if it's just a standard card trick, someone's selling it, some people will like reverse engineer it and they'll just start performing it. Ethically, I think that's wrong. You should support the creator, but also for your own benefit, there's a lot more that you're going to get out of their teaching and on that project. And so Trident's going to be no different. There's going to be, I can't talk about it yet, but there's going to be some really cool stuff that I'm, some sort of other versions, how to do it for stage, read 1,000 people's minds at one time, do it group, and those I'm not going to put out a live performance, because I'm showing you the main effect. Now, anyway, I'm kind of rambling a little bit. It's a very complicated subject. But what I'm trying to say is, with PROPLESS in particular, like my Show Me a Trick tee, the t-shirt with a magic trick built into it, I can show you a live performance. I can even show you the whole tutorial. If you came to me and said, hey, I'm thinking of buying your t-shirt, but I want to know more about how it works, I'll happily send you the full tutorial. You can watch it, and that's totally fine, because you can't do the trick without the shirt, right? And again, it's not that, like, 90% of people I would fully trust and like share this with you and be like, if you like it, you can pay for it. If you don't, kind of thing. Like, I would love to do that, but the reality is you have to market and sell and protect your business as if you're always selling to the lowest common denominator, right? The least trustworthy people, just because, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So with PROPLESS, the problem is that a lot of times the script is the method, and so it's not about people figuring it out. It's about people trying to or think they know it, and then trying to there is an element of protecting it, but there's also people trying to reverse engineer and then say, oh, it's just this, and it's like, no, it's a lot more than that. It almost kind of like devalues all the work you've put in. So anyway, there's some kind of similar things that have just happened to come out recently, not similar in method, but similar in plot, like PROPLESS word guesses. There's a couple, and they're sharing 0 live performances. One of them, they're making you pay to see a demo. So you have to pay $50 or whatever it is just to have the guy show you what it is. And then he's charging an absurd amount of money for it. And that's fine. It's his product. You can charge whatever you want. I have no problem with that. But the paying for the demo thing is crazy. Again, they can do whatever they want. It's just crazy to me, right? In the way that I would go about marketing or selling something. And, you know, I've seen it, and I won't give you my opinion on it. And I think you can infer from that what it is. But anyway, the point is, there's another thing that is by someone who I'm good friends with. I think it's good. I think and at the end of the day, I mean, of course, I think mine's better. Of course, that's why I came up with it. But again, it's not what it's about at all. Everyone has their own thing, different strokes for different folks. But again, they're not putting out any live performances, no trailer, nothing. And a lot of PROPLESS stuff is like that. And so it's just a really tough battle, because I see what the market's doing, and I'm like, you know, normally you follow the market because you want, you know, these are people who have been doing it. They know more than me, not the first guy, but the second guy. And it's like, maybe I should follow that footsteps and do it the right way, because when you have something you feels really good, you also don't want to, you know, fumble it and mess up. But I just can't put something out without a live performance, to me. Like, that's just like in my nature. And so I see a bunch of questions coming in. I'm going to answer all of them. I just want to get through this point because I know it's kind of long-winded, but it's important to me. So I'm trying to, and I want to be clear, and I'd love to hear some of your guys' thoughts. So I am getting to a question, Jimmy, I promise. But basically, you know, okay, there's already 2 live performances fully uncut that are out there. Okay. I gave permission to the people who've put them out to put them out in their videos, and I am fine with that, you know, and I'm happy that those are out there. And now those are what I'm going to use for my live performances in the trailer, because, again, I want to put a live performance. It's just balancing all of this. So anyway, what I wanted to ask Jimmy is, I saw, Jimmy, you said, I believe on Fred's video, something to the effect of, and I asked you this in the comments, but I assume you just didn't see it. But you said you were disappointed with a lot of, I think maybe you said specifically PROPLESS mentalism releases, or maybe it was just mentalism releases. So I wanted to know, what have you been disappointed with in the past, and what would make this release not disappoint you? That's what I wanted to know, my friend. Okay, so let me read through some of these comments that people are asking. Trident. Yes, Trident. From what I saw, it looks like the Holy Grail. You know what? I don't like to throw around that word, but it is pretty awesome. I can't really judge it until I see an unedited performance. Totally fair. I get it. There is some performances on my channel. There's an unedited performance on Kevin Booth's Blackpool video of me doing it to him. You know, there's also a case where I could put up a performance and just cut out like a few key words where you still see the whole thing, but then it's cut out a few things that help me protect the method. But again, then it feels like you're hiding something. The second you try to cut things, people assume, oh, you might have cut 5 minutes, where it's like, no, I just cut one second. But, you know, anyway, so that's why I think I'm just going to go full live performance. But yes, and then of course when the trailer comes out, that performance full unedited will be in there, and I'm just trying to navigate how to do it. I have some cool ideas, I think, of how to like be as fair as possible. Yeah, that's how it appears. Yeah, man, and if you've seen the live performance, I mean, that's all it is. There's nothing more than that. Reed, it won't be just me who thinks it because of the edit, so don't feel we are bashing it. Of course, yeah, I totally get that, man. Like, it's a really, and hopefully you understand the perspective of, you know, me trying to release a PROPLESS thing and navigate. Like, again, I think the key is to like understand, like, you might be ethical and you might be able to watch it and say, see a full uncut performance and say, you know what, I'm still going to pick that up and support the person. But not everyone will. And you know what, I'm not even worried about this system where it's like people reverse engineering it. I know people, this is the type of system where people might think they know how it works, but you don't. There's so much more going on into it. There's going to be a ton of other stuff on the project that is not going to be in the trailer. There's going to be, you know, Jamz with some big names. There's going to be all kinds of really cool stuff on there. tons of live performances, performance breakdowns, so you can learn how I do the system and everything. And so there's going to be a ton of stuff. But again, you got to think about that lowest common denominator where someone's like, oh, I'm just going to watch it and be like, oh, if I just say what he says, I can do it. Good luck. But again, that's not the point, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I do have an uncut performance up right now. It wasn't the podcast. I asked Fred to cut it, Jimmy, just because I only want like one. There's already two, but I really only want one live. And again, I gave full permission to post those performances, so it's fine. But I only want one live performance out there. I think that's fair, right? I put out one. You see what it looks like. It looks like that every time. That's what I'm going to do. I see a ton of comments coming in. Great. I'm getting there. It reminds me of what I saw in the 52-1 trailer and said, OMG, that's a holy grail. Then I saw the tutorial and realized there's phishing. I'm still happy with the deck, but lots of others. Yeah, that's tricky too, right? When there's like multiple out type stuff, people will sometimes just show the best performance. Luckily, this is not multiple outs, so you're good. Ray, what's going on, man? I love your Trident. Thank you for performing at Blackpool. It was a real pleasure to meet you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and thank you for the thing you sent me because it sparked a really cool idea that's going to be on the project. So thanks. Ray says it felt like true magic when I performed it to him. So thanks, Ray. Are you going to host another competition on YouTube? That would be fun again. Yeah, at some point I definitely will. All marketing is copying each other these days. Sometimes, yeah. I think I have some cool ways. I'm trying to come up with some new ways of doing it. Like I have an idea of like me going out and just finding not a random person, but or having someone who's a magician that I know. I'm just going to go to them. I'm going to perform Trident to them. Then I'm going to teach it to them with a timer. So you guys can, obviously I'll fast forward it so you don't hear what I'm saying, but I'll teach it to them. And I've already filmed this once. So tell me if you guys think this is like a cool way of marketing. But so I did it with my buddy Cameron. I performed it to him for the first time. Then I set a timer. We started it. I taught him the system. We stopped the timer. I think it was like 2 minutes and 2 seconds. 2 minutes I taught him the system. Then I took him out and he performs it right after that. So just to show kind of how easy it is, because it's just really cool. Hi, how are you, Timmy? What's going on? Do you have a PROPLESS word guess that isn't yours that you would recommend? Lexicon by Fed Umbilic is good. I mean, I think Train Tracking by Atlas Brooking is one of the best sort of concepts, but again, it's just super hard that it's like, to me, it's not really practical. But those two are nice. The issue I had with people telling me I'm doing tricks wrong, heckler rage, so I move on to something else. Yeah, I get you, man. Where should I learn hypnotism? I have Induction by Spidey. Man, please don't spam the chat. You sent it like 3 times. Once is enough. I'll get there. Hypnotism? I don't know much about hypnotism, man. Sorry. I've heard good things about Induction by Spidey, but I can't recommend more than that. The inevitable downside of PROPLESS mentalism is that they have some procedures. Some spectators have trouble getting walked through the procedure, but Reed's effect is quick and to the point. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's the goal. Like, I remember coming up with this originally, and I'm like, it's just too complicated. And a lot of the PROPLESS stuff I come up with, at first, I'm like, it's too complicated. How can I, smooth it out a little bit? And all that. So, what do you think about The Grail by Pete Turner? Pete's a good friend of mine. Grail is awesome. Hey, Reed, came up with a magic method using bookmarkers to inject custom JavaScript, I assume, into any site. To trigger it, you must prefix your code with JavaScript in the address bar. Since the challenge is getting the code in there quickly, I found 2 solutions. You can NFC auto-type the full string, or use a PROPLESS method with a URL, created a copy, paste. Cool. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you could do with that, but sounds neat. And then Jimmy says, keep JS Magic in mind whenever you release it. Yeah. Me and JS have spoken. I one day we'd love to. We're just not really close to each other. I mean, we're not that far, I guess. New York, Toronto. Anyway, one day we'd like to do a street magic video together. That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, he does great reviews, and me and him, he does do live performance. Yeah, like me and him do shoot a lot of David Jonathan's projects. We help him out with that. Lately, we've been doing that. So if you've seen like Decode or Double Feature, me and JS did a lot of live performances for that. So yeah. Okay, that's my spiel about PROPLESS mentalism and marketing. Anyway, Trident hopefully is going to be ready by this summer, and I'm excited for it. I was doing an ESP trick by Peter to my friend, was trying to force the circle using the words Peter said to use, but my friend was like, I know what you're trying to do. You know, I think I know the method you're talking about. And things that are psychological in nature, I mean, that's part of what you run into. You have to understand that it may not always go according to plan, and you just have to be very careful with the linguistics that you use and the way that you try to navigate it, right? That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. So just be careful. But yeah, Blackpool, I think that's what there is to say on Blackpool. I had a great time. A lot of performing. I got to perform my new PROPLESS birthday guest. So if you watch my POV video, yes. Yeah, it was a POV video. About halfway through, you'll see my new PROPLESS date of birth guess that I think has a chance to be the best one that's been released, that's on the market, because it's just really streamlined. A lot of the other ones have always been a little bit lengthy. This one's pretty streamlined, I think. Reed, is marketing to the Magic Cafe irrelevant these days? I don't do it. I don't even go on the Magic Cafe. So, I mean, I feel like it's irrelevant, personally. You know? But yeah. So that's what I would say. PROPLESS birthday guess. Oh, and if you saw that ACAN I did in the POV, that's pretty cool too. And that's using a new system I've been working on for a while. I was frying some people with that at Blackpool. But yeah. What else? Show Me a Trick tee has been getting some hype thanks to my good buddy Fred. If you don't know the Show Me a Trick tee, it's the my t-shirt where it says ask to see a magic trick on the back, and it will basically force you to perform magic if you wear that out in public. It's crazy how well it works. I remember when I had the idea and the first time I wore it out, I was like, this isn't gonna work, and then I did it and it was just like everyone was asking, and I couldn't even breathe. It's like, wear a change of clothes. And then within the shirt it has a 3-phase routine, so it has like a your card gag, it has a little magic trick gag, and then the finale of the routine is they can think of a card and you show it printed on your shirt. It's pretty cool. So you actually can reveal a thought of card printed on your shirt. Kind of fun. That's up on my website, and yeah. Okay, I feel like there was something earlier I was going to come back to, but right now I don't remember it. So if I told you I was going to come back and answer something and I didn't, just remind me. For Indian names, how do you use Guess Who? What are common names starting with ST? Well, my friend, unfortunately, I'm not Indian, so I don't know what common Indian names are. But I would recommend going on ChatGPT and saying, hey, what are the most common Indian names starting with S and T? And it will give you a whole list, and you just use your judgment and say which ones are actually common, and you pick a few, and then you create your method for narrowing down, and you can use the Guess Who system pretty easily. I do talk a little bit about that in my PROPLESS Mentalism masterclass, about how to adapt PROPLESS Mentalism across languages and across cultures and things like that. So if you're interested on a little more info, I think I even do talk about the Guess Who method a bit on there too, and how you can adapt that. So check that out. What's your best magic app for street mentalism? For me, it's still going to be Wikitest, man. I think that's just the best thing you can do. Like, it's kind of hard to top it, you know what I mean? It's just so clean, so good. I love, Subliminal. I love Inertia. Onyx is a new Mark Kirstein app that's really, really cool that uses AI to edit images, but it's the best I've ever seen. Like, you can really do anything with this app. Like, you can literally do, write a word down, and then you hand them the billet, so they're holding it. So let's say you're like this. So you write a word, and then and imagine I'm the spectator. So I take the word, I place it in their hand, and now I take a picture of them like this. Now I say, what word are you thinking of? Well, Onyx can edit the image on their phone. So you take a picture of them with their phone. Onyx can go in and edit this word in your handwriting, matching the line weight, the thickness, the type of marker used. It'll literally look indistinguishable from reality, and can change this to say anything. So they say, oh, dog. Well, now this will say dog in the photo, and you can just so the routine this is a routine I came up with using it, but you just rip it up, You rip up the billet, you say, you know what, a picture lasts longer. What word were you thinking of? Dog. You let Onyx do its thing, and then they go check their phone. It says dogs. Onyx is crazy. You can do, even one of the default routines is like you take a picture of their eyes, and in their like iris, a playing card will be written in the shadows, and it looks really good. It looks, when I describe it and when I thought, I'm like, this is going to look so fake, but it doesn't. It's just, it does such a good job. It's amazing. I haven't performed it yet, but hopefully this year. Do you know a good way to create your own free web app? No, I haven't dove in much to apps. You know, I think apps are pretty saturated these days. I'm not all that interested. I'm much more interested in PROPLESS mentalism and thinking of ways to come up with cool methods without needing anything, rather than apps, because they're just really saturated. There's other people who can do apps, but I've thought about it. Blue Apple said there are vibe coding apps that let you create it simply using AI. Very cool. I asked ChatGPT for common names. I got more than 10 for S&T. Okay, so narrow it down. You got to do some work yourself, right? Take a look at it and say, what names are actually common? Like, what names are people actually going to think of, you know? Mark Kirstein apps are amazing. Agreed. I wish someone made an app that could transfer inverted mental die numbers to an app that creates a list with their number on a force animal, etc. This can duplicate in a drawing. I imagine DFB might be able to do that. Let me see if there's an inverted dice input really quick. Manual text. Because I know Mark has inverted dice on some of his other input, on some of his other apps. There is a third-party integration, and you could maybe use Bridge. I bet you could already do that with DFB if you just play around with it a little bit. You should release a hoodie as well with the Ask to See a Magic Trick print. I always wear something over my shirt when going out, so it kind of kills the purpose of the shirt. Just a suggestion. Yeah, I have had a few people ask about the hoodie. I've also had people ask about doing custom shirts, so like they could put their own logo on it. I've thought about both, so thinking about it. I've always been looking for some good drawing duplications to perform. Which one do you perform and suggest? So, PROPLESS, Fedon has the best one. It is called Mind Peak from his PROPLESS book. That one's fantastic. I use it all the time. It is, you know, probably my favorite PROPLESS effect that is not my own. If you want something a little bit more traditional with billets, literally, I do this on stage. I'll just say, you know, I'll keep it. I won't go into the scripting, but think of think of anything, something you can draw, something meaningful to you, and I'll do some cold reading, and then I'll say, you know what, I want more people to get involved. I want some of the people in the front row to be able to participate. So here, take this billet, write down what you're thinking, and show the people in the front row. So they now write flower. They go up, they show the front row, and then I say, okay, great, just set that down here. So they set it on the stack, and I say, perfect. Now I do some more cold reading, and I say, you know what, just imagine your word here for me for a minute. You know what, in fact, take this and you hold the billets in front of you and you just visualize it. So now they're holding this, and I say set those away in your pocket, and within that I get my peak, and then I have them stand back to back with me, and I do the drawing duplication. So really, all I'm doing there, the easiest peak of all time, no need to complicate things, have them set it back on top, shuffle it to the bottom, and then say visualize your word right here. And in fact, their word is on the bottom, so when I'm holding it like this, I'm just staring at it while they're here, right? And that works super well. Yesterday I made a fake Wikipedia website. When the spectator searches any name in it, another website in the phone will receive the name, but after 4 or 5 times stop working. Do you know any small whiteboard peaking devices? And by the way, sorry, I don't know enough about coding, my friend, to help you out. Whiteboard peaking devices. I don't use a lot of I don't use any impression pads, in fact. So I know Pitata have some good ones. Audience Wonderland, Lumen, but otherwise, no, my friend, I'm not the guy to ask. Jimmy says, Reed, I saw, and Jimmy, I don't think you answered my question about what has disappointed you about Mentalism releases in the past, and what would this release have to do to not disappoint you? Reed, it says, Reed, I saw a new Sentinel, so that's the Adam Dadswell thing that came out. People were suggesting it's overcomplicating it because you can Andrew Gerard the process instead for a cleaner version. I'm not sure which version by Andrew Gerard you're just talking about, but, you know, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't looked much into Sentinel. I know how it works, and I have an idea of it. I would like to see a live performance. That's the one thing I haven't looked at yet, just to see how it looks when Adam's actually doing it. I've heard people seem to be really happy with it. Again, my philosophy is always like, when it comes to a peak that involves a full stack of billets, why introduce a gimmick? There's 1,000 peaks you can do if you're using a stack of billets that require no gimmick. And I don't think it's any cleaner, right? Like, I think the thing about Sentinel is they put the card in the middle, and then without any shifts you can peek it or whatever, which, okay, but I could literally do the same thing by just taking their word, top changing it, saying put it wherever you'd like in the deck, and then I can just peek this without any moves, right? I say, imagine your thing here, and you do a thumb peek. And, like, I don't know. It seems like stuff like that, I'm always just like, does it impress magicians more than it impresses the audience, right? Like, does the audience care about that? Like, is it just something that magicians are like, oh, this is really good, but when you actually show it to an audience, they're like, it looks the exact same to me, right? But no, Sentinel seems like people are really enjoying it. Reed, when I do protest, a lot of the time people think of food. Do you have an idea on how to restrict them without seeming restrictive? Yeah. I would say, so the way that I script it is I say, take yourself back. Imagine you're young, you're in school, you're like 10, 12 years old. You're getting very bored in class, your senses starting to heighten, and you reach down and you just grab a crayon and you make a simple doodle on the desk, something easily recognizable that anyone would recognize. It might take 5 to 10 seconds, right? Now, I can see how people could go for food. Funny enough, I've never had that except apple, and I have introduced apple into my anagram when I do it. I put it in there because I got it a couple of times. But I would just, if you're really worried, you could say just think of an object you could doodle. You know, you can always do that. What's your go-to mentalism opener when cold approaching a stranger on the street? I'm looking for something direct and quick, not much procedure, ideally not involving a deck. Can it involve billets? Okay, so openers when it comes to mentalism. The interesting thing is I almost always open with cards, because I'm branded myself as like doing both. I'm not going to do mentalism and then do cards because mentalism is just going to hit harder. So I generally open with cards all the time. But when I do open with mentalism, it is usually just a simple billet peek, just because it's straight to the point, surefire, and simple enough. Again, if you've watched my billet work masterclass or any of my, and even I talk a lot about what's in the billet work masterclass is kind of sprinkled all over throughout the channel. So if you're quite familiar with my content, my Mentalism 101 series, then you might have seen some sprinkles of this around. But really, it's just about, like, it really feels like a propless word guess. I walk up to someone, I just guess what they're thinking of, but I am using a billet, but most of the routine is cold reading and me having them do things and process, all these things I've talked about in Mentalism 101 and in my billet work masterclass. And then at the very end, it's like, oh, you know what, it's still a little foggy, write this down, show your friends, or write this down so you can visualize it, quick peek, like literally 5 seconds I've peeked it and it's back in their hands, and I'm like, then back into like the theatrics of selling it, the hot reading at this point, right? And then go through and reveal it theatrically, right? I don't think there's like a particular effect that's like, this is the perfect opener. I get that people want something quick and not much procedure. That's why I don't generally open with propless. But, what can you do? David, what's going on, David? Hope you're doing well, man. Congrats on all the success of the new projects. Double feature is the bomb, man. Still really enjoying that. Very happy that I was able to help out a little bit with that project. If you guys don't know, double feature, David Jonathan, killer new magic app. That is fantastic. Got my highest recommendation. And David, I love that you introduced the sports. They just did any athlete, and that's awesome because yeah, you're totally right. There's like no sports mentalism out there, and a lot of people, at least in Canada, sports is huge, and I like sports, and so having that's just super cool. So I played around with it the other day. I updated, so awesome, man. Your interview with underperforming hobbyists was great. So much good advice in there, and Trident looks fantastic. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'd love to show it to you, David, sometime. I'm gonna send you a message when I get closer to development, and I want to share it with you and see what you think. And so I'll be in touch, man. You know, I saw him peak during the performance, and I was like, the gimmick is the gimmick necessary? Yeah, I feel you. What's the peak that you like the most that uses a phone? Iris. I would say Iris. Iris is very cool by Daily Magician. I've had a couple little issues with it, but it's not an app. It's not a shortcut. It's just like a feature in the iPhone that they discovered, but really, really cool. There's this thing which I guess isn't fully a peak, but no, the guys from so it's this new company. They're not out yet. They're called Tunnel Vision. I gave them my #1 underrated trick at Blackpool. They're releasing something called Sub-Zero, and think of it in the same. If I can give you a little bit, it's I Curveball by Oz Perlman. It's kind of like that, but it's like 1,000 times better, and the screen doesn't have to be locked, and you know all that. Super, super good, and you can use that as a peak. So that might, once that comes out, that may be better than Iris to me. They showed me it. I've been playing around with it, but okay, Jimmy, this is what I've been wanting to hear. So what disappointed me in the past with PROPLESS was that it involved so much fishing that my spectator always say, well, basically I told you everything at this point. I might as well tell you. Okay. Now, Jimmy, I hear that a lot, and my question to people is always, why do my spectators never say that? Okay? Now, I don't mean that in like an arrogant way. I really mean this in like the nicest way possible, but it's just a question. What I find is that I get that from a lot of people, right? I hear that, or I hear people in my private lessons say, oh, I need help with PROPLESS mentalism. Every time I do PROPLESS by Fed on Billick, or every time I do Pete Turner's Guess Who, people just say, oh, I'm fishing too much. Or they think they kind of figure it out or whatever. And then they perform it to me, and I'm like, well, that's why. Like it's you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is the case with you, Jimmy. I'm just saying what in my experience, right? But people, it's like, I don't have that problem. And I think it's because people, one, I think there's a huge problem with fishing, and I am going to make a video on fishing in my Mentalism 101 video soon. But the biggest tip I'll give you right now is when you're fishing, do not ask, tell, right? So let's say I need to know if there's an A in your word, okay? Never, never, never say, is there an A? Or is there an A in there? Or, you know, like if you're trying to fish between red or black cards, never say, is it a red card? Which so many people make the mistake of doing. You need to tell them. You say, it's a red card. There's an A in there, right? I'm telling them, and you're assertively telling them. The reason being, if you ask and they say no, well then it seems like they just gave you an answer. If you ask and they say yes, well, it seems like you gave them an answer. But if I tell and they say yes, now it seems like I got a hit. And if I tell and they say no, then it seems like I got a miss. And a miss is not bad in PROPLESS mentalism, because a miss means that you have no idea what they're thinking of, right? To them, right? If you're thinking of the word elephant and I say there's an A in there and you say no, you don't think I know anything more. You think I've in fact probably lost information about what you're thinking of. I'm so far away. But in fact, if that's part of my anagram, I'm actually much closer. So it's really important when you fish that you tell and you don't ask. Anyway, so I get people saying that. I'm like, it's you. You're not framing things right. You're not delivering the questions properly. Because PROPLESS is an art form. Definitely, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do convincingly, but it can be done convincingly. But I hear you. Now, the good thing about TRIDENT is that there's no phishing. So it'll solve that problem. There is obviously a process and a system, but it doesn't involve you asking the spectator any questions for the most part. I mean, if you're ever... No, there's no phishing. There's no phishing. Like, there isn't. Okay. You could go to someone and tell them what they are thinking of. It's impossible. The only way you can do that is without real magic. Yeah. Poor Canadians lost to the Dodgers. Yeah, man, that was very unfortunate. Which iris routine do you use? The notes mostly, like the drawing duplication with the notes is sweet, but anything, right? Like the Google Maps is cool, the photos is cool. Timmy, thank you. Do you have Inject? And if you say yes, what is the effect you perform the most? I just got Inject. Greg gifted it to me. Thank you so much, Greg. At Blackpool. I got to meet Greg. We've been chatting on Facebook, and he was nice enough to hook me up with Inject. So I have been playing around with it, but I don't have a good answer for you right now. I've been able to correct overfishing by altering tricks after the first question. So I either hit the low card, and if I don't, instead of asking for mid/high, I transition into making their card. Okay? Or making their card vanish. Got it. About PROPLESS mentalism, I agree 100% with what you said. Thanks, Blue Apple. I can get behind your response, Reed. Sorry to mention this at this point, but I'm only 6 months into Magic. Yeah, totally, man. Hey, we're all at different stages. Like, it's no problem at all, right? Reed, is Trident surefire? Oh, that's such a tricky question. Okay. Like anything, no. I mean, the only way something can be surefire is if they write it down. Even when they write it down in PKit, it's not surefire, because they could... write it in a way where you can't read it. They could get confused by your instructions. Maybe they write down the wrong word. Like, assuming nothing insanely ridiculous happens where they don't screw up the trick. So let's assume if we put out the possibility of the spectator screwing up the trick. And again, with PROPLESS, that can be a little sneaky, because sometimes people will say, if people do say that, well, a lot of the time the spectator does screw up the trick because your PROPLESS method is so damn complicated, right? So you could see how people could skirt around that. But Trident is not in that. It is very straightforward to follow. So assuming that everything goes good and that your audience is, like any other trick, your audience follows your instructions. No, I can't say it's surefire, because it's as good as the performer is. What's an example I could try to give? To try to give an analogy. In my experience, I can only speak off my experience, I have never not been able to get it. The only times I've not been able to get it have been when the spectator has made a small mistake. And that's happened 3 times out of all the times I've performed it. I've probably performed it about 50 times in the past month. And I've missed 3 times. One of them was, they were all the spectator. I don't want to say the spectator's fault. It's never the spectator's fault. But they just made a little mistake because they didn't understand something that I said. One of the times it was a language barrier, so that's fine. The other time it was early on, and it was a little wording thing. And so I just revised. It was actually a learning moment for me while I was road testing this. So I revised the script, and that's cleared it up. And the other time was... I say think of a single word object. The person thought of a word with a hyphen in it, which threw off the system. And so, that's kind of some insight into the 3 times I've ever missed. I've taught this to a bunch of people, and they've been able to perform it within 5 minutes, and they can get it right away. Anything that someone's thinking of. And so... really, I think it's one of the most surefire methods, but it does rely on you in a way, if that makes sense. It's like, it has nothing to do with math, and I don't know if this is a good analogy, so maybe I'll take this back after I say it, but I want to try to give you guys as much as I can. It's like a math test, right? You could say, well, can I get 100% on this math test? Right? Like will I hit all of the, the question. So is that like, will I hit it every time? Will I get 100%? You could, but it depends on the performer. It depends on you. Like, you have to be, if you struggle with math, again, Trident has nothing to do with math, but if you struggle with PROPLESS mentalism, then it might not hit as often. But luckily, it is super easy, and I want to try to, and I do think everyone can do it. But again, I don't want to be dishonest and say that it's like 100%, but it has been pretty much for me. Hey man, what's going on? Devra Boy, there we go. Why is that so hard to say? Devra Boy, what's up? That feeling of everything going right and being difficult and risky makes it worth it when it hits. Totally. I am big on taking risks. Timmy says, thank you so much. Have fun playing around with Inject. Love the Google Peak feature. Have you been able to try them out yet? Just with myself, not in performance. Reed, is Trident too risky repeating with the same spectator as they will be on to what you're doing? I don't think so. I actually did it to Fred twice, and he said he had no clue. I've done it to a couple of people multiple times, and I think it's repeatable. Do I recommend you repeat it? Probably not, but I don't recommend you repeat any magic trick. But that's a good question. I'll work to try to find a better answer on that. I think it is repeatable, though. Because it looks the same. It's not one of those things where it's like multiple outs. It looks the same every time. So if they didn't, they're not going to get it the first time, they're not going to get it the second time type of thing, right? What is your favorite mentalism effect with a deck of cards? Ooh. I went straight to my PROPLESS playing card guess, but that doesn't really use a deck of cards. Let me think on that. I'll come back to you. If there was one tool/gimmick you could add to Trident to help, what would it be without revealing? I don't know what you mean. Like, it doesn't really need a tool or gimmick. It's, there's nothing to add. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't think it needs anything. I think that's what makes it, beautiful. Okay, I got your answer, Bit Out Magic. So, what is your favorite mentalism effect with playing cards? So, I hand someone an envelope with one playing card inside. They name any card, and it matches. Do you think Trident is the best PROPLESS effect? If not, what would you rank as the best PROPLESS effect? Well, I like to leave that up for the people to decide. I generally don't like to rate my own things. But I will say, out of all of the PROPLESS mentalism that's out there, I think it checks the most boxes. It is, there's basically no restriction on what they can think of. You don't need any prompts. They never say it out loud. They never write it down. The process is easy to follow. The process is relatively short. It is very easy, no memory work involved. It is, anyone seems to be able to do it. Like, I've literally showed this to so many people, they seem to be able to do it, like, right away. It's very easy to learn. There's so much you can do with it. I'm on the project, I'm going to be teaching how to play a game of Scrabble, completely PROPLESSly, where the person imagines all the words that they play on the boards. You guys play a game of invisible Scrabble, and at the end you can tell them the word that they're thinking of on the Scrabble board. You could play a PROPLESS game of Hangman and guess what word they're thinking of, where they just imagine invisibly drawing a hangman board, and you can play that. You can read the whole room's mind at once. You can do this on stage. I teach a version using a billet that enhances. Actually, there you go, Jimmy, a billet. If you add a billet, and I am going to teach a method using a billet, where there's a couple of methods. One where the spectator writes it down and you never see it. One where, and there's all kinds of different stuff. So a billet, but I am going to teach a billet version on there. You can do it fully PROPLESS, but there is a version with a billet that makes it extra deceptive to laymen in certain regards. So there's tons of options on there. I'm going to teach a prediction version that, thanks to Ray, he inspired this idea. And I've got a really cool idea with doing a prediction where you write the word before they even think of a word, and you can, and they can think of any word and it'll match your prediction. So lots of cool stuff. But anyway, yeah, I think it has a chance to be one of the best. Right now, what's the best propless effect? I've always had Midas Touch by Peter Turner. Hey, Reed, just wanted to say, oh, Gary, what's up, Gary? Hope you're doing well, man. Gary, I have a question for you, man. Okay, so if you're still in here, Gary, I went on my website, like the back end of my website, like a few weeks ago, and I was going through my media, which is like anytime I upload images or stuff to my website, and I saw that you uploaded an image of yourself wearing the shirt, which was super cool. And I assume, and I couldn't quite figure it out, but I assume that you must have tried to upload it as part of your review. And thank you so much for your review, man. I really appreciate it. Now, let me ask you, because I went to your review and I don't see the image. So did you change your mind and not upload the image, or did it just not work? Because if it's not working, I'd like to know so I can fix it. But for whatever reason, somehow I saw the image on the back end. I was like, what the heck is this? I just see this random guy who I don't know just wearing my shirt on my website on the back end. I'm like, what? I never uploaded this. It was really, I had a really good laugh, Gary. So thank you for that. But then I'm like, oh, and then I could see, and I was like, oh, this must be Gary because I could see you posted it. But then I went to the review and it wasn't there. So I was just curious if you tried to upload it and it didn't work, or if you changed your mind and deleted it, but somehow it's still uploaded. So it's not on the review page, but I can only see it, but it's on the back end. Gary says, I wanted to say, I love your Show Me a Trick tee. I carry an invisible deck around me for backup in case I don't get the hit with hearts. Enjoy, you and Fred. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, I teach the way that I always get people to name a heart on the project. But I think, you know, that's one thing Fred talks about, right? Like, at the end of the day, you have it there as multiple outs. Even if you're not doing the Show Me a Trick routine, sometimes just, you know, sometimes just doing another trick and a heart comes up, you say name a card, you're doing, you know, something else. And then, yeah, it just, now you can just reveal it as an extra. Not really sure. Gary says, I'm not really sure. I think I did try to. Yeah. Gary, it was so funny. I was like, it was late at night. I'm scrolling through like some media on my website. And I just see this guy wearing my shirt on my website. And it's weird because like I thought only I could post to the back end, like, because it's when I like upload images to my website, right? For like whatever, I'm building a web page. And I just see you there and I'm just like, who is this? It was really funny. But okay, thanks for that, man. Reed, I feel like if you include flash paper into your Trident routine, you could sell some more units. Yeah. Okay, here's another question, actually. That you know, I'm going through it now. How would you guys like to be taught a piece of PROPLESS mentalism, or Trident in particular? My feeling is that video is the best way. And it's also the easiest for me to deliver as an independent creator, and, you know, like, I've been recommended to create a book or a booklet for it, which is what, again, a lot of people who create PROPLESS mentalism like this would do. And I think the reason is because it's harder to pirate books, but again, everything still gets pirated anyway. There's nothing you can do. Like, your books will get photocopied and uploaded to these pirated sites. So at the end of the day, you know, but I'd be curious, what do you guys think? Like, I think video, I can just teach so much better. I can always update the videos, you know, where you just get like there'll be a web page with a login, and when you buy it, you get the login basically, and then all the content's on there. Again, like, yeah, of course, people, you know, there's the risk of piracy, but like, that risk is always going to exist no matter what you do. And I feel like teaching on video is just, and so Jimmy says, yeah, I agree, booklet will delay the pirate. It'll delay it, but everything's going to get pirated, right? And so at the end of the day, you know, the people who buy from pirated websites are going to do it regardless. And it's like, why would I make a booklet, which is going to be harder for me because I got to source the printing, I got to do all the shipments now, I got to ship out everything, when if I make a video, it's all automated. I don't have to lift a finger, right, once it's set up. So why would I inconvenience myself? And then also I feel inconvenience the customer, because the booklet is going to be, it's never going to be as good as the video, right? You're going to have to read through it and figure it out yourself, where I could explain it to you much more clearly and concisely on video. I can do performance breakdowns, I can do live performances, I can do all kinds of things, right? So it's like, I'm leaning towards a video project. You know, and another question, so I'd love to hear, whoever's in here, if you can answer that question, it would be a huge help. The other thing I'd love to hear, what's your opinion on downloads versus not? So what I mean is, does it really bother you if I don't allow you to download the project? So in the past, I have done, and I still have a few projects right now. Like like my PROPLESS Mentalism Masterclass. It is accessible on my website, on my membership, but it's a month-to-month subscription. So if you keep paying monthly, you get access to it. But I also have it on my website where you can buy lifetime access. So you just pay once and you get it forever. The reason I did that is because for me, I would always prefer lifetime access to something. I would just, pay a little more up front and save money in the long run, right? That's what I do. And you can buy either, but I made that project not downloadable. It says clearly in the ad copy, this is not a download. You cannot download this. It's a streaming project. Now, again, as long as I am able to and alive, I will keep the project live. And I understand people with downloads, they're worried like, oh, what if your website goes down, you stop keeping it? Totally understand the sentiment there. But is it like a deal? I guess what I'm asking, is it a deal breaker? Because I am leaning towards making Trident not downloadable, or at least the main tutorial not downloadable. Again, people always have whatever, but so I have Breakthrough System, and it uses a whole website you need to access to use the modules. Can you elaborate a little more on that? Is it like you have like a sign-in, like you have a passcode and you sign into your own account and then it's all there? Because that's pretty standard. A lot of companies do that, but is that what you mean, Jimmy? And then Jimmy says, I agree. Sorry. Jimmy says, the booklet comes with an autographed card of our choice. Yeah, I would do that. I would totally do that. Maybe supplement book to accompany video. Yeah, like I was thinking, the thing is, like, I could do like a little booklet PDF that you could download, Yeah, passcode and account. Yeah. I mean, I can do that. I can set up a passcode and account if needed. Again, even that stuff, like people have ways they can go into the source code and download the video or whatever. But yeah, that definitely makes it a lot more difficult. Like, I'd be curious. Like, what I often do is when new stuff comes out, and I'll go on like these pirate websites and just search them and see if they're on there already, right? Even I went and bought one of my own projects. I went and bought my One Ahead Masterclass from a pirated site just to see how they had gotten it and what version of it they used. And they actually got it from my YouTube channel on the memberships. And I thought the membership was super secure because it's YouTube's encryption and you need a YouTube account to sign in. So I think that someone must have bought the membership and then went on there and just ripped everything. That's my assumption, because they had the YouTube version, so they didn't even have the version from my website, which is what I figured they had. But yeah, one person making it not downloadable doesn't annoy me, but when the industry starts to make it the norm, it's when it annoys me. Okay, so it wouldn't bother you too much if I did that. I get it. I some people, they're like, oh, my internet's not the best, I can't watch it here and there, and I think, unfortunately, I think I'm not gonna make it downloadable, unfortunately. And I get it. I that's the way I'm leaning right now. I would like to find a way around that, but I think if I'm not going the booklet, I think I got to do that. But I will always keep my website up, and if one day something ever happens and I am unable to keep my website up and all the content goes down, I will definitely make sure to send people all their content to download. Big QB. Okay, so is this someone from football, or who's saying this? Who's Dope Skillet? Who is that? Oh, David, you're still in here. Yeah, I was gonna reach out to you about this, actually. So it's good that you're here. David says, even if no download options, there are browser plugin screen recorders. Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying, right, David? Like, and the thing is, like, David, I actually did look at, like, so I deliver my projects right now the same way you do, and I got this from you. I used to host them differently, but then I saw how you host, because we both use Wix, and the way that you host with the back-end passcode pages. And the thing is, like, obviously, your project is going to be different than this, because your projects, they generally always come with something, right? And so you have to ship something anyway. and so they can't. It doesn't matter if they see the tutorial, right? Or you have like something like your apps where I believe you have like a licensing code, so it's very hard to pirate anyway. But video only projects, that's where obviously it gets a little more complicated. And so K Money, who is K Money? K Money, who could that be? Cam, what's going on, Cam? I know that's you. Hope you're good, man. So anyway, yeah, David. So, it's just like finding that balance, because like I'm trying to decide now if I should upgrade the site to go to like a members. Because right now I don't use any sign in. Like I have no need to have people sign in and do this. No, and David, I'm not worried about piracy like so much because I know it's gonna happen. What I guess I'm mostly thinking about is the best method of delivery now, because I totally know that piracy is going to happen no matter what. And I guess the big debate I'm having now is, do I go and create like the members portal in Wix, because I don't use that right now because I don't need to. When people place orders, it's just handled through their email. I don't have like a sign in, which I could set up. I just I've been trying to avoid it because it's just simpler than having a members area. But then now I'm doing so David, I guess my question is, have you ever noticed any issues with like, I guess, if you're hosting it on a page with just a passcode, then all it takes is just sharing the passcode. Anyway, I'll message you, David. We'll talk about it later. But I appreciate it, man. But yeah, totally. There's nothing you can really do about it. You said there's another creator right now with a similar to TRIDENT, but it's currently charging for demo. It's not similar. It's just like, it's just a propless word guess in a way. The one I'm particular, I don't even know if you'd call it a word guess. Yes, but they're charging for demos. Yes, and so, which I think is nuts. And luckily I saw it at Blackpool. I went up to him. I was like, hey, can I see it? Most people, he was charging people for demos at Blackpool, but I used my YouTuber cred and got a free demo because I ain't paying for it. But so I did see it. And yeah, I just think it's an interesting marketing strategy, but hey, you do what you want. It's your thing, right? Do you use any of Jake Keen's mentalism apps, i.e. not ESP or his Ingram project? He did a trial for $10 with Ingram and then a discount, which was cool. Jake I've met Jake at Blackpool. He's a good dude, real good dude. I was supposed to get set up with not ESP last year, but it never happened, so I never ended up playing with it much. Not ESP I think is really cool, but for me, there's other ways to accomplish the same thing that I don't think the memory work involved is worth it for me, right? And I know there's kind of ways you can do it without, but to get the clean version, you need to memorize. And yeah, it's one of those things, like I understood what was going on the first time I saw it. I think it's a really smart and it's great. And Jake's a great guy, so he's well worth supporting. What is your force if you want to do the effect with the little paper that you cut, but then you see a face of a person? I've never done that. I think I have an idea of what trick you're talking about, but I've never done that. But what force would I use if I'm trying to force a celebrity, let's say? I'd probably use DFB. Reed, what if you save the release for Blackpool 2027 and only teach it during a live lecture? Oh, wow. That's a cool idea. Imagine. I don't think that would go over very well, though. I mean, it would be a lot of work for me, but if I only taught it to people on like a Zoom session, right? So what you're buying is a Zoom session with me, and then you record it. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool concept. It's cool in concept. I guess it probably would really reduce the amount of piracy. I mean, if you don't let them record it, it would fully really reduce it. But of course, eventually, I don't know that it's fair to not let people record it because they need something to go back to, right? And that's a ton of work for me to do. I mean, I do a lot of private lessons as it is, right? So it's like, but that is actually a cool concept. Maybe there's something there, yeah, that's interesting, man. That's actually a cool idea. But, I think logistically it would just be tricky. And I don't know how many people would like that. It's almost like, yeah, I know you mean live in person. I know, but I'm thinking like, I don't want to just make it something you can buy one time. I want to be able to always sell it. And so, the practical way would be you buy it and then we do a Zoom session and I teach it to you. But, there's so much stuff that's going to be on it. And so it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. It's a cool idea, though. It's definitely cool. You could do that and then let them record it. And then everyone has their own personal recording, but it's a little complicated, but it's a cool idea. I'll keep that in the back of my head. Maybe one day. Are you doing a live lecture next year? I am planning to do. I've had a lot of people ask about my mental minimalism lecture. And sorry, Jimmy, the other thing about, I don't really want to release at Blackpool. There's just too much noise around Blackpool. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much stuff coming out. I'm not interested in just being, part of the Blackpool chaos. I think this deserves its own time, right? And so I'm planning to come this year. Like, it would have been nice to have it out for Blackpool this year because it did get a lot of hype. Like I said, I had random people DMing me all Blackpool. Oh, I heard about this. Can I see it? Can I see it? I showed it to a bunch of people, and then it got a lot of praise. A lot of people, I was getting like 10 emails a day, 10 DMs a day for like a week after Blackpool. People saying, I saw your thing. When is it coming out? So, like, obviously it would have been nice to just be like, here, it's already available. But you know what I mean? It's not ready. It's not ready, and I want to make sure it's ready. Like, when I brought it to Blackpool, I wasn't even sure if it was like where I wanted it. Like, I was like, I need to jam it with a couple of my trusted friends and see what they think, because I don't like to just, sometimes you get in your own head too much and you're like, oh, I think this is good, but what do other people think? Because it's not just about what I think. Of course I'm going to think what I create is good. So yeah, live lecture, though. I am planning to do a live lecture in like this, actually I think this year. I'd like to do my mental minimalism lecture this year for you guys, because I do it to a lot of clubs, but the problem is, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. I was saying, live lecture. So I do my mental minimalism lecture. Like, I just did a club in Boston last week, and that's great, but it's only for clubs. Like, normally when I lecture, they're exclusive for clubs. So like some clubs will let whoever buy a pass to the lecture, but most don't. So like when I posted about the one for Boston, I posted it on the channel, I posted it on Instagram, and people were DMing me, how can I see this? And I was like, oh, it's for members of the club. So I do want to do one not in person, but like a Zoom lecture for anyone, like open to everyone. So because I know a lot of people want to see my lecture, so I'm planning to do that this year. Do you know any magicians from India? I met that guy. Is it Karan Singh? Maybe. He's pretty popular. The guy who worked with David Blaine. I met him at Blackpool last year, and I saw him again this year. Karan Singh, I think. Let me just check on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's him. I don't know many. What's his name? Maybe I have it wrong. No, I think that's him. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know him. Do you have any other PROPLESS stuff you're planning to release? Yes. PROPLESS date of birth guess. I was actually planning to put that out before TRIDENT, but TRIDENT got so much positive feedback that I was like, you know what? I'm going to put out TRIDENT first, and then people can... it also... it's my first PROPLESS project, like, that I'm releasing, and so it'll generate a spark, and people will hopefully be interested in checking out more PROPLESS stuff down the line. Is there a PROPLESS mentalism effect you can teach in the jam? Yeah, I can teach my my playing card guess. I've taught that on the channel. I can teach that. If they forgot, they can always come back for 2028. When is TRIDENT coming out? Summertime. That's my goal. I need to like I'm over the next few months, I'm gonna try to get all the content ready and finished and all the tutorials done, get the webpage in order and all that, and then once that's ready, I need to just go and film some more live performances on the streets, but it's a little too cold still, so I'm just waiting for it to warm up, and then I should be all ready by summertime. Propless mentalism. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to chat about. We'll wrap up soon, so let me know if you guys have anything else. Group lesson. I'm going to be doing a group lesson soon. So group lessons are basically like a Zoom session with a bunch of people. So whoever kind of gets a ticket, they come on. You get 10 to 15 minutes of time to discuss one-on-one with me. Well, not one-on-one, but your time where you discuss with me what you want help with. Then everyone else in the group gets their 10 minutes, but you get to be there and learn from what they ask and learn and see what everyone's questions are and learn from all the stuff we chat about. And then at the end we have a jam session, 30-minute jam session together. So it's on Zoom, and they're always a lot of fun. I haven't done one in like a year or two, but I do want to bring one back this year, so I'll stay tuned for that. Tomorrow, new vids. Tomorrow, I see a few questions. Do you have any performances for your date of birth divination? Yes, Ray. It's in the POV Blackpool video. I did it on Matt Cluley. Let me actually show you. So if you go here, this video here. This is me waking up out of bed because I really wanted to, keep the theme of POV. And if you go to, boom, right here, 29:30-ish, you'll see this performance with Matt. And this is a full performance of my PROPLESS date of birth guess. And you can see me do it. And he freaked out because he was like, I have no idea. He's like, I thought you weren't going to get it. I thought you screwed up, which is great. I love that. That's a compliment. Is Trident 100% every time? So I talked about this earlier, my friend, about Trident being 100%. It's like any magic trick, assuming that the spectator doesn't, make a mistake, then yes, it is 100%. As long, no, I can't say it's 100%, but it is as close as but I'd say it's very close. I'm about, 47 for 50, and those 3 performances that I did not get were simply because one was a language barrier, so the spectator made a mistake. Again, I'm not blaming them. Always blame yourself. But the other one was just a very small thing in the linguistics that I was able to correct in my scripting. So it was like, I'm still road testing it at the end of the day. So I learned something and I changed the script and fixed that problem. And then the last thing was, actually really it was a hit, but it was just a slightly different object that I guessed, but it was so close that it's basically a hit, but I count it as a miss. It's as 100% as, it does depend on you. Like, you need to be able to perform it well too, right? Like, so, but it is extremely high, and I've had a lot of success with it. I will 100% sign up for the group lesson. Looking forward to it, man. Do you have any more confidence? Do you have more performing Trident over your favorite book test? Very interesting. Very interesting. I would say Trident's a better effect. I would say my favorite book test is Mark Paul's AAA book test. I guess Surefire. I would lean slightly to AAA very slightly, because again, it's like a billet. It's like, unless they read the wrong word, it's gonna work. But Trident is the confidence I have with it. I did it on like some big names, and like some of them I know, but some people like Mark Elston. I never met Mark. I just literally messaged him on Facebook. I was like, hey, I'm here at Blackpool. I want to show you something. He responded. He's like, cool. And he loved it. And like, that was like, obviously got to have some confidence to perform that, and you got one shot at it. So stuff like that, right? I saw the performance. I didn't think it was a full performance. Incredible. Yeah, no, that was the whole thing. The PROPLESS birthday guests. It's pretty cool. They, yeah. Read. Can they think of any word in Trident? You get them to pick up specific words from a set. No, it's anything. It's just. I mean, if you see the performance, I didn't cut anything from when I asked them to think of a word. Right? If you watch what I did on Fred. Did you get a chance to perform for David Blaine? No, I met David. I got to meet him. But unfortunately, I did not perform Trident to him. I would have loved to. But it wasn't the right time. He was getting swarmed, man. It was... I'm sure he was not... kind of annoyed by the end of it. He was just getting absolutely mobbed. But I did get to meet him, which was super cool. Really, really cool. Okay... All right, well, let me know. I'm going to wrap up soon. Just before I do like to let you guys know what the upcoming videos are on the channel. If you're here in the live stream, let you know what's coming. So, coming up tomorrow, we got another performance breakdown. Then after that, we got Mentalism 101, episode 19 the following week on presentation. Then we'll get another street magic video. Then a tutorial on the side steal. And then I'm gonna do 5 unique ways to use Digital Force Bag. So I'm gonna teach you 5 ways that I use Digital Force Bag that you have never seen before, hopefully. Performance breakdown number 2. After that, so another performance breakdown. Then I got my buddy Cameron Marshall coming on the channel to do a tutorial. It's going to be really cool. He teaches a really awesome effect. Then I'm going to post a bunch of performances from Blackpool. That's my plan. I want to do like a Blackpool performance compilation video, and then the Slide Off episode 2, season 4. So that's what the next kind of really 2 months of videos look like on the channel. Most of them are already filmed. That's the way I roll. Okay. Did you get a chance to perform? Oh, sorry. Before you take off, can you remind me of where your uncut performance was? Check out Kevin Booth's Blackpool video. Yes, Kevin Booth. Check out his Blackpool video. It's the same performance. I mean, I'm going to post it in a couple of months when the trailer comes. But yeah. Can you explain a PROPLESS effect? Sure. 1 second. Looking forward to DFB. Haven't tried it. Nice. Thanks, Reed. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Can you perform an effect with DFB? Just wait for that video, man. It'll be out. Did you pick up the effect by Thomas Bedard? No, I wasn't a huge fan of it, to be honest. I could kind of tell what was going on, and I didn't think it was as good as people were thinking it was. It wasn't for me. Not really my thing. Okay, PROPLESS effect. Let's do it. So, my PROPLESS playing card guess. This is something that if you watch my interview with Fred, he performed on me. Vidout Magic says, I don't know, but there's an effect where you build this fictional character and ask someone to think of a trait from that character, and there's so much more. Yes, that is called character. I've taught a version of it in my repertoire series. I think episode 3 of repertoire. I teach a version of it, but it's different than what you're probably talking about. That version I'm going to teach on the membership eventually. It's on the list. Okay, so PROPLESS playing card guess. So this is something I have taught on the channel when I had like 4,000 subs. I think that was my 4,000 subscriber special. This is a really fun PROPLESS playing card guess that I do that works really well. I've dubbed it Mind Games, and I talked about this with Fred, the underperforming hobbyist, and he loves it, and he did it on me for the first time. So if you want to see a performance of that, you can go check out the underperforming hobbyist. So how it works, or how it looks, is essentially I want you to, well, actually let's watch it. Let's quickly, tell me if you guys can't hear this. Hopefully you can, but let's check out Fred's channel. This guy wrecked me in his thumbnail. The AI thumbnail. It looks nothing like me. Maybe it's just me who thinks that, but I look fat, man. Let me show you Fred performing this on me. So this is what the performance would look like.
People's minds, and they're like, no way, how did you do that? And I'm like, whoa, it's just a simple script, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's what's really so fun about PROPLESS.
Fred, and you can use your imagination, right? You can imagine cards.
Yep.
Perfect. So if I spread an imaginary deck...
Oh, are you guys not... Yeah, okay, sorry, it just went away. 1 second. Okay. So this is what the performance is, and then I'll teach it to you real quick.
Cards in front of you like that. I just want you to think of one of the numbers, okay? Don't think of the value. Sorry, don't think of the suit just yet, but you should have a value in mind, okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Now, don't think of... I mean, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to think of the suit, but for now, just leave your mind blank. But when I ask you in a moment, I want you to think of all the details, all the shapes, all the curves, all the colours. So, for example, if you were to think of spades, you would think of it big and clear, and you could print that on the front of your mind, just spades. Okay, so obviously, you can pick whatever suit you want, but right now, I just want you to settle on the first suit that comes to mind, okay? You've got it? Excellent. So now you put the value and the suit together, and you'll have a card.
Got it.
You're thinking of a card, and there's no way that I could know what that card was, right?
Never.
But let's make it even more random, okay? So I know that a lot of people, when I ask them to think of a card, a lot of people think of like common cards, like the kings, for example. Everyone thinks of the kings, right? So what I want you to do, if you were thinking of a picture card, I want you to change to a number card, and if you're thinking of a number card, change to a picture card, okay? Have you got one?
Yeah.
Excellent. Perfect. Just picture that card in your mind for me. And I just want you to spell it out for me. So if you could just spell out, say, for example, if you were thinking like the King of Hearts, you would be like K-I-N-G. And you just focus in on that first letter for me. Okay, you got it? Can you think of a month of the year that starts with that letter? You know what, forget it. We'll do something else. Let me, right. I just want you to think of the suit, okay? So immediately I'm picking up that you're thinking of a red card, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so what I want you to do is I just want you to repeat the suit in your head, okay? Over and over and over again, okay? So hearts. Okay, right, you're thinking of... Okay, right, let's try this. I could be wrong. You could be thinking of any card in the deck, right?
Anyone, yeah.
Right. I could be wrong, Reed, but for the first time, what card are you thinking of?
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts.
All right, so that is Mind Games, quick performance. Okay, so Mind Games is really cool. I didn't really see it. Okay, I copied all your script off this from Fred's video so I can rehearse it. Yeah, I actually, Gary, I teach this on the channel if you search for it. I use your mind game effects, but have a 3 outs procedure, 3 multiple outs. Yep, that works great. This is how I perform 2-card wave. I imagine imaginary deck, fan out, high and low, stop in my hand. Cool, very cool. Okay, so what I do is you say, okay, I want you to imagine. In a moment, I'm going to have you think of a value of a playing card. So what I want you to do is think of a number from a deck of cards. Okay, so I say think of a number. That's key. Think of a number from a deck of cards. What that does is psychologically, we'll get them to think of a number from 1 to 10. Okay, not Jack, Queen, or King. The only thing you need to make sure is that they don't pick Jack, Queen, or King off the bat. So how I influence them is, in a moment, I'm going to have you think of a value from a deck of cards. So just think of a number from a deck of cards, right? So it feels like you're talking about the value, but then you throw out the word number. Now, once they've got one, and you push them a little bit, you say, you got one? Yeah? Great. Okay. And then I say, now you could be on any value. So now I'm reinstilling the false memory that it could be any value. So I say, now that could have been any value. And now we're going to get the suit in mind. So, for example, if you thought of spades big and bold at the front of your mind, you'd imagine every line, every curve really bold. The reason I do that is to kill spades so that they don't pick a spade and to push them towards a red. Now, it doesn't matter if they don't choose a red card, this will still work, but that line really pushes them to choose a red card because you've said spade out loud. So their only option is really club, but usually people will go for red, and just naturally people go for reds more often than black, right? So I do that, and then I say, go ahead and let the first suit come into your mind. They now have a suit in mind. Then I say, okay, now you have a playing card. You have a value and a card. And then now I need to justify this little reverse restriction principle. This is something I've seen Peter Turner use with playing cards. And it's really, really nice. He uses it with letters as well, which is very cool. But basically you're going to say, Now, you might think that card's random, but it's not actually as random as you think, because when you have someone name a playing card, it tends to just be a very common card. And then you say, like the kings, for example, and that's very important, right? Because normally people would say the aces, but I say the kings, and what that does is it kills the kings, and that is going to force them away from choosing a king in a moment. And when you deliver that, you want to say it with you're almost like angry, or like you have some disdain for people who name kings, right? And that'll further make them not pick a king. So you say like, you might think it's random, but it's really not as random as you think. Like for example, when you have someone name a card, they always go for like the kings, for example. Ugh, I'm tired of people who go for the kings. They always go for the kings, right? And so I don't want you to feel like I just got lucky and you just went for a common card, right? And so by saying that, you've killed the kings. Then you say, so, to make it even more random, if you went for a number card, switch to any picture card. If you went for a picture card, switch to any number card. And since we forced them on a number card in the beginning, we know that they'll now be on a picture card, so either the jack, queen, king. And you say, okay, great, take your new value and your suit, put them together, and this will be your new card. Now they're on either the jack, queen, or king of one of the suits. So how do we figure out the suit and the value? The first thing I do is I say, okay, now imagine spelling your card in the air between us and focus in on the first letter. They do that. I say, now, can you think of a month that starts with this letter? All you need to do is look for hesitation. They're going to give you one of two answers. Yes, and it's going to be right away, because they're either thinking of J or Q. Jack or queen, right? Because we've killed kings, so we know they're not thinking of kings. Now, once in a while, I will still get someone who thinks of a king, and I'm going to show you the way around that. But what I do is, if they are thinking of queen or jack, and I say, can you think of a month that starts with that letter? Since the first month of the year, January, is also J, right away, if they're thinking jack, they will say yes. Within 1 second, they will say yes. Great. Now it seems like nothing's happened, because if they say yes, you're just going to brush it off. And again, because they said yes, it won't register in their mind. They'll just say, okay, I thought of a month. So what? That doesn't tell them anything. In reality, we know that now it's the jack that they're thinking of. So that's how I get the value. Instead of letting them say no, if they have Q, people will always think for a moment. Because Q, they have to just make sure, right? So they'll look up for a moment and they'll say no. But before they verbalize the no, because the J is January and it's so early, if you don't get the yes right away, then you know it's no. So cut them off before they even say no. Because if they say no, it's much stronger if they never say anything, right? Because then it feels like they really didn't give you any information. If they say no out loud, then it's still really good, but it feels like they gave you a little bit more info, right? Because now they'll start to say, well, he knows it's not one of these cards type thing, right? So I just cut them off before they even say no. So I say, can you think of a month that starts with this letter? They look up, they start to think. I say, you know what, forget that. And now I know they're a queen, right? I say, you know what, forget that. Instead, can you just think of the color of your card? Just keep repeating it over and over and over. Or sorry, wrong step. I say, just think of the color of your card. Right away, I can tell you went for a red card. And again, this is fishing, but I'm not asking, I'm telling them. And I always tell them red, because most of the time, 90% of the time, they're on a red card because of the scripting at the beginning. So you're going to get a hit. And if you don't get a hit, who cares? You've missed, but now, now it's 1 out of 26, but no one really cares. It's still just as impressive, right? So, and if you do get a hit, then it's, it's a hit, and it feels like you read their mind. So I say, okay, right away I can tell you went for a red card. They confirm, now I know they're on a red suit. And I say, okay, keep repeating the suit in your mind, keep saying it over and over, keep repeating the suit, keep saying it. And then I use Darren Brown's repeat it principle, and I say keep saying it over and over, like hearts, hearts, hearts. If they smile and react, I know they're hearts. If they don't, then I know they're diamonds, right? So now I've gotten the suit, and I know the value from the month ploy, and now I can reveal either the queen of, let's say, hearts, or the jack of hearts. If you're on queen, it could also be king, realistically, because K also doesn't have a month that starts with it. So what I usually do is, if, let's say I know it's the queen of hearts, I'll spread through, I'll pull out the queen of hearts from my deck. I'll say, all right, you're thinking of one card. You're not thinking of a king, are you? And I'll say that, and if they say yes, then I say, and it's the king of hearts, isn't it? And then it seems like a hit, and I just put this card back in the deck, right? 90% of the time they say no, and I say, okay, good. I didn't want you to be like those other people. What was the card you're thinking of? They say queen of hearts, and I turn over the queen of hearts. So that's it. There's a propless effect for you. Really fun. Really love this one. Have fun with it. It's really good. Really, really good. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up there. If you have any last questions, fire them in. I'll wait a couple more minutes, but I'm just about to jump off. Speaking of the breakthrough system being pirated, I'm seeing comments that it got pirated and only took 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, man, everything's going to get pirated, unfortunately. All right. Yeah, guys, this was awesome. This was fun. We'll do this again in a couple of weeks to a month. These are always a lot of fun. Stay tuned. A lot of cool stuff coming to the channel. You know, stay subscribed. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. It was a real pleasure, a lot of fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Yeah, a lot of great stuff coming, guys. And this was a pleasure. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And with all that said, guys, I'll catch you next time. Have a good one.